A poor farmer stood trembling at the edge of his field, his life's only treasure, while 3 luxury SUVs rolled in, their engines humming with entitlement. Out stepped 3 powerful men, laughing arrogantly, backed by corrupt police officers. Sell it or lose it, they threatened. But what happened next turned the entire country's eyes toward this humble man. You won't believe how this farmer turned the tables, and who showed up to stand beside him. Please support us by subscribe, like, and share for more, with activating the notification bell. Thank you. In a quiet farming town in Georgia lived Ethan Walker, a soft-spoken farmer with sunburned skin and weather-worn hands. His land, 6 acres passed down from his grandfather, was more than property. It was legacy, it was love, and it was his family's lifeline. Ethan lived there with his devoted wife Linda and their intelligent 17-year-old daughter Emily. They worked together daily, growing corn, beans, and vegetables, barely getting by, but happy. Their lives were simple, marked by early mornings and long days. The Walkers had no dreams of wealth, only of peace and continuity. Their neighbors often looked to Ethan as a symbol of honest work. He helped everyone, repaired fences, and gave away food to those in need. But their peace was shattered one morning when 3 luxury SUVs rumbled down the gravel road to their farmhouse. Out stepped 3 powerful figures: Senator Charles Whitman, a slick politician; Gregory Blake, a ruthless real estate mogul; and Sheriff Tom Daniels, the county's top law enforcement officer with a reputation that made everyone uneasy. Without so much as a proper greeting, Senator Whitman tossed a set of papers on Ethan's porch. "We're offering triple the market price. Sell the land." Ethan looked him in the eye. "This land isn't for sale," Blake smirked. "You'll change your mind. Everybody does." Linda peeked through the curtains, her face pale. The air was thick with intimidation. That night she asked her husband, "Why do they want our land so badly?" Ethan whispered, "Because there's something here they want to steal, but they don't know who they're messing with." Over the next week, things went from strange to hostile. Ethan's tractor tires were slashed. The local feed store abruptly cut off his credit line with no explanation. The well he had used for years dried up overnight. A threatening letter, with no return address, appeared in his mailbox. In town, people began looking the other way when they saw the Walkers. It was as if fear had turned friends into strangers. The pressure campaign was calculated and relentless. Even the local pastor suggested Ethan should consider the offer, whispering, "It might be safer." Meanwhile, Ethan kept working. Emily, sensing her father's silent distress, took it upon herself to investigate. At the county office, she stumbled across a zoning map that showed a proposed luxury resort, golf course, and private airstrip, centered precisely on their farmland. "Dad," she said, heart pounding, "they're building an empire on your land." Realizing the depth of the conspiracy, Ethan called a town hall meeting. He stood before the townspeople and declared, "If they can take my land today, yours is next. If we don't stand together, none of us stand at all." Some clapped. Most stayed silent. Fear was winning, but Emily had live-streamed the entire speech and uploaded it with the title, "Farmer Refuses to Sell. Watch What Happens Next." Within 12 hours, the video racked up over 1.4 million views. People around the country were beginning to take notice. The morning after the video exploded online, the Walkers woke to the sound of engines. Sheriff Daniels led a convoy of squad cars toward their home. Armed deputies piled out, barking orders. Behind them came Senator Whitman and Gregory Blake, smirking like kings surveying their prize. Daniels stepped forward and waved a document in Ethan's face. "By state order, this land is now under temporary seizure for public development. Move out or face charges." Ethan held up his deed, his voice steady. "This land has been in my family for 3 generations. You can't just take it." Daniels shoved him to the ground. Linda screamed. Emily began live streaming again. When deputies tried to grab her phone, she bolted toward the road, dodging through fields. The live video showed everything: Ethan bruised and bloodied, Linda crying, officers shouting. The internet erupted. Influencers, civil rights activists, and celebrities amplified the video. Within hours, Stand with Ethan was trending worldwide. That's when a black sedan pulled up. A tall man in a crisp white shirt and gray slacks stepped out. It was Judge Michael Harmon, a retired Supreme Court justice known for taking on corruption. He stepped through the crowd and faced the sheriff. "Touch that man again," he said calmly, "and you'll be in handcuffs by sundown." The sheriff hesitated for the first time. Thanks to Judge Harmon's intervention, Ethan was granted immediate legal protection. A special court hearing was called within 48 hours at the Georgia State Appeals Court. The courtroom buzzed with tension. Senator Whitman and Gregory Blake arrived flanked by a team of top-tier lawyers. Ethan and his family sat quietly, holding hands, backed by Judge Harmon and Samantha Reed, a brilliant civil rights attorney who had volunteered after seeing Emily's live stream. Samantha presented overwhelming evidence. The supposed acquisition letter was never filed with the state. The zoning changes were illegal, rushed through a midnight session. Witnesses were paid off and reports were forged. But the final blow came when Emily produced a USB drive. "I found this on a shared Dropbox folder from Blake's project site. It wasn't even password protected. On the drive were emails between Blake, Whitman, and Daniels detailing the plot. Bribing local officials, faking public meetings, and even ordering sabotage on Ethan's well." The courtroom gasped. The judge pounded the gavel. This was not development. This was theft, fraud, and abuse of power. He ruled all actions against Ethan null and void, and ordered the immediate arrest of Whitman, Blake, and Daniels. Outside, cameras flashed. Ethan stood quietly as reporters asked, "How does it feel to win?" He replied, "It wasn't just about me. It was about every farmer they tried to silence." When Ethan returned to his land, he was greeted with flowers, cameras, and cheers. But the fight wasn't over. His story became a spark in a dry field. Within weeks, more than 300 farmers across the country began sharing similar experiences. Whistleblowers from government offices came forward. The Department of Justice launched a federal investigation into illegal land grabs. Emily was invited to speak at national forums. Law schools invited her to discuss citizen journalism. Samantha Reed became the face of a new land rights movement. And Judge Harmon's foundation launched a legal aid network called Roots and Justice. Ethan, though, preferred the quiet life. He turned down offers for interviews, books, and movies. "I'm just a farmer," he said. One warm spring morning, as the wind rustled through golden stalks of corn, Emily ran toward him holding a letter. "Dad, Harvard wants to interview me for early admission." He smiled. "You earned it, not just for you, for all of us." And in that quiet moment, under the same sun that had fed his crops for years, Ethan knew the land was safe, not just his, but everyone's.